It's funny how these parallels play out. We didn't post the Sunday session last week because I was busy watching Shador go Brady mode. If we check the game tape from the prior week, we talked Mike Vick's and how we wanted to spectate over speculate as the volatility index looked ready to scramble. And just like Shador from the 2, Mike Vick's gave us something to watch. But what the ducks is going on in the markets?
Said Archer, a million miles running, heavy stuttering. I stumbled out the gate, then I realized nice guy had to make it mean. Had to show my ass, that's the only way to make a scene. I'm not invisible, though they try to make me seem the dopest individual. Flip vocals over trampolines. You see my focus, my motives is to trample teams. Flow is like the ocean, but I'm floating you that Dramamine.
What's going up, elevators? I'm If Archer from King Boulevard and Wall Street. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of MUSA Market Sessions on the KBWS network. This is the last Sunday of the month, so we'll be bracketing our normal weekly chart coverage with both monthly and daily chart looks. Still focused on our LT weekly strategy. We're also introducing our gray area. Let's just say we use the collective KBWS gray matter to highlight where gray matters. How much it matters to you, that's a gray area. With the gray area, we have a projected move of about 6 to 20% on VIX, with the weekly ATR of about 18% and a daily ATR of about 7.6%. We're looking for our move to the gray area to happen sometime in the next 2 weeks. We are officially out of our entire SPY position on the close below the 21-week EMA. It's been a fun ride from 370, but now it's time to reset for our journey to 480 and beyond, starting with the potential 2 to 6% drop into our gray area buy zone. With the weekly ATR of about 3% and a daily ATR of about 1%, this move could happen anywhere between next week and 2 weeks from now. Interesting. Let's flip over to the monthly chart and see if we can get some perspective on this move from a jet high view. You can basically look at the fib that we drew from COVID lows to all-time highs and see that it's not even in jeopardy. Worst case scenario from our bullish standpoint is a retest of a 38% retracement. We don't have that line drawn, but it's somewhere around 380. So let's just say we can use the purple trend line in conjunction with the 127 blueprint sometime over the next month or so, if that's going to happen. If it happens fast, that's great for us. If it doesn't happen fast, then we're expecting a slow drift down to the 400 area if that's going to happen. Now, keep in mind, what you're about to witness is my thoughts. Anything that I may say, it's just what I was seeing at the time. I'm not advising anyone to do anything except your own due diligence. Except your own due diligence. We're still kicking them doubles. Back to the weekly chart, we're looking at the Dow. Our gray zone projects a 1 to 4% drop, which is a lot smaller than SPY, but we'll get to that in a minute. The weekly ATR is about 3%. The daily ATR is about 1%. We're expecting this move to happen anywhere within the next week to week and a half. Let's just say 2 weeks to keep it round. I'm starting to sense a theme here. IWM had a bit of a head start on the action. We began talking about the potential head and shoulders a few weeks ago. We talked about some support levels that had to hold to keep us from revisiting the bottom of the symmetrical triangle trend line. We're projecting another 4% drop from here. We're already in the gray. We increased our position size to 100% based on the LT weekly strategy this week. We're going to eat this other 4%. We might load a bit more if we do well in our trading this week around that 172 zone. The weekly ATR on this one is 5%. The daily ATR is 2%. Since we're only projecting about a 4% drop, this move could happen anywhere between the next 2 days to week and a half. We're going to say 2 weeks, just like we've been rolling with. We're going to really have to look into what's supposed to happen over the next 2 weeks, because this theme is just a little too coincidental with everything lining up this way. Keep everything in mind as we head to the Qs. If you real enough, then I'll explain. Look at you, as real as can be. I guess I got some explaining to do, but I still ain't got to go beyond the technicals to paint this picture. So if you take a look at the weekly chart, we're sitting at the 21 EMA. It's not quite time to exit a position if you were in a position, but we still maintaining the side eye. As you can see, our gray area projects a 6 to 11% drop. Just looking at the ATRs, this could take up to 3 weeks for the move to happen. But why would this be any different than the other two major indices? Let's talk weight. Before we move on, let's take a look at the lower time frame to point out that for anybody playing the LT daily strategy, there is a 50% entry opportunity in the 350 zone. Talk that purple tape. Now I'm telling bad. If we get our projected 7 to 12% drop on XLK, the tech sector, that could do a lot of explaining for why we expect to do worse on the Qs, which are heavily weighted with tech, than the other two sectors, SPY and the Dow. If we look at the weekly chart, we are below the 21 EMA, but we haven't established a lower low on what we expect to be a lower high, lower low type scenario to get us to our gray area, 7 to 12% south of where we are currently. But what if I'm wrong? I don't want to bias the analysis because we are still bullish. So let's say you're playing the LT daily strategy in the same community where we're playing the LT weekly. You would have taken a 50% position entry at the 164 zone, and you'd be looking to average that down in the 155 zone with the full position, bringing your position average somewhere around 160. In the event that our gray zone projection from the LT weekly strategy is correct, that would put you stomaching about a 10 to 11% drawdown. I still think pharma and financials are a better play from these levels, but I can definitely understand why we would quote unquote jump the gun with tech at the purple tape on the daily chart. That's all we got for this week. I hope you guys are taking notes. I hope this has been an informative session. If you fly with me, I'm out, elevators.
Million miles ahead of my closest competition. You love it if you listen. You ask me what lift is. I'll tell you the story of one big kid, a boombox, a pen, and a dream. The fact my mind's racing, it's not a bad thing. In fact, my mind's racing, it's the sting for the machine. So full speed ahead, put the anchors on deck. We got a million more miles to go. We can't sleep.
I said, shit, man, I don't know. I'm staring at the clock watching.